My sister Desira cheated on her wife Maria. My sister and I have always been close, inseparable. Until the incident in 2021 when my sister's wife accused one of our family members of touching her breasts. Eventually, Maria told my sister what she thought had happened, and my sister went straight to the family member who was being accused. There was a big fight, and since then my sister and wife practically avoided the family. To this day, when Maria is asked if she still thinks the family touched her breasts, she says, "I don't know. We were very drunk and high." So she destroyed our family, in which we were all very close, by the way, without even knowing for sure. Anyway, here we are 3 years later. My parents barely speak to my sister, and our third elder brother doesn't talk to her at all. I am basically the only lifeline my sister has for the family. We don't talk every day, but we film each other. Then one day, she just kept asking me about the pregnancy and how I knew I was, what the first signs were and all that. When I asked her, "Who's pregnant?" And I never in a million years thought that she herself would say that she is simply a lesbian. But my sister is weird too. She likes attention from men. Always, probably daddy issues. She really loves attention all the time. She posts unusual photos online, loves compliments, likes to show off her body, and only responds to comments from men. I don't know what this is about. Anyway, she tells me that she and a guy from her gym were hanging out, smoking and drinking, and then having sex. She does not remember him pulling out. After all, she's not pregnant, and she told me so, and I've been sitting with this information for weeks now. My sister is a pathological liar. She always was and probably will be. She plays and does something only when it is beneficial to her. The wife is definitely beneficial to her because the wife pays for everything. I think my sister is only married to her wife because she is content to use her. And her wife broke our family, and my sister said that she no longer loves her wife because of this incident. But does that give my sister the right to cheat on her? My sister is very confused. She is going to therapy, not sure how much it is helping. But to this day, my sister lives like she's not scared of pregnancy, and her wife still posts adorable things about their relationship. And my sister gives the impression that she is lonely. I was in a long-term relationship with my high school girlfriend for almost 16 years. A month ago, I found out that he has been having an affair with his work colleague for many years. Our 15 years passed smoothly. We had crazy chemistry, a connection, and the conversations weren't forced. I love him, he loves me. He is a wonderful guy, supportive, caring, generous, sweet, everything I could wish for. Everyone is supportive of our relationship, including his friends, my friends, his family, and my family. Everyone is rooting for us. All right. It wasn't until mid-2023 that I noticed he was late for our dates and meetings. I told him about it, he said he would fix it, but never did. This was the main reason why we argued for months. When our 15th anniversary came around, I was disappointed in him for not putting in enough effort and time. He came home around 10 p.m. and didn't buy me a present, and I waited all day for him, and my present has been in the works for weeks. He usually goes out of his way for our anniversary, but this time it was just like a casual dinner. I'm grateful, but I wish we had more time to spend together. Fast forward to 2024, he told me he was going on a business trip at a beach hotel with his colleagues for 4 days. He updates me on what they've done, shows me some pictures, and even video chatted with me one evening. A week after he got home from his trip, a man texted me and said he was his colleague's ex-girlfriend. He sent me a video he found through another colleague of theirs who was with them on the trip. He said that this trip was not actually a business trip, but just a vacation organized by their work colleagues. It is very obvious in the video that something is going on between my lover and this girl. They weren't seen hugging, kissing, or holding hands, but the way they were always by each other's side in photos and at lunch, dinner, made me suspect there was more to it. I met with my BF, and he denied that there was anything going on between them and that they were just friends. Said they were just closer in age and were hired around the same time. I shrugged and decided to believe him since I had no other evidence against them. I contacted the girl to ask for clarification, but did not receive a response. Her ex also contacted her aunt to ask. Also, no response. She and her ex broke up just 2 months, 2023, before said trip, so her ex wanted to know if she broke up with him because of my BF. He said she broke up with him because of a joke he thought was weird. She also admitted that during the time she was with her BF, now ex, she developed feelings for my BF, so I'm sure she cheated on her BF too. I'm not sure her ex still doesn't know until now, as they are still keeping low-key and not releasing anything yet. After that incident, things got even worse. He still comes home late but still shows up every day, but I could still see some connection between them in her posts online. He wasn't visible in the photos, but I could feel him with her in them. I still lack proof. I found nothing on his phone, no conversations with her, nothing. He then forbids me from posting anything publicly with him. I have a photo of him publicly on my Facebook, but he said that was it. He got angry every time I posted something that even his shadow could see. Every time I saw the connection, I argued with him and he lied and made excuses. There are times when I can be sure because he can show me the receipts that he is telling the truth. And 4 months after the video incident, the girl decided to contact me. She spilled everything. The fact that they are in a no-label relationship, but they go out for dinner and travel. She said she asked him to stop when she found out about me, but he didn't. She has known about me since they first worked together. He said we are not together anymore, and she said she will get some more proof that we are still together, but he will ask her to give him time to break up with me. This happened during 2022 to 2024, but they entered into this relationship without labels from 2023. She found out many times, but never reached out to ask me, tell me, or confirm it. She also said she's not waiting for him to break up with me, but she's the one posting things, and now she's reaching out to finally reveal it. She posted subtle photos thanking someone who wasn't mentioned, posted with a little elbow to him, just, I think, to show me she was with him. My FB profile also had pictures of me and him, which made her ex find me and ask about me and my BF's relationship. She also said that her family found out about the relationship between my wife of 13 years cheated on me during rehabilitation. My wife and I have been married for 13 years and have 3 small children under the age of 8. A couple of years ago, she was abusing the prescribed Adderall, and the withdrawals caused her to lose her job that same month. She told me what had happened. At first, she blamed her withdrawal symptoms on her severe anemia, and we worked through it to find her a new job and regulate her medication. I would control the supply and distribution of the pills. It seemed to work for about a year and a half until I noticed random charges at a so-called local grocery store of $80 a time. I asked her about it and was told it was a case of energy drinks that she keeps at work. I later found out that tianeptine is in bottles of this drug called nootropic. He is called the heroin of the gas station. I immediately confronted her and she broke down saying she was going to stop and she knew it was bad. After 6-7 months, she calls me and says that she has breathing problems and is shaking a lot. Her colleague drives her home and she lies over and over until I find out the truth that the grocery store no longer sells those pills and she took 60 pills, 2 pills at a time. I got her family involved and she agreed to inpatient rehab. Then I found out that she had been getting credit cards in her name all this time behind my back to buy those $20K worth of pills in about a year. I told her we would work on it and to just get clean and see a professional. During the first week, she sent daily texts and on the weekends called the children via Zoom to talk. As far as I knew, everything was fine. The second week was the first session of family therapy and I went in person. She spent half an hour telling me what a piece of crap I was to her in our marriage. I was stunned. She didn't even look at me the whole time and had her back to me. 3 days later, without my knowledge, she transferred her direct deposit from my paycheck to her Venmo account and asked for my Venmo card so she could send the money. Right after I did, she said she wanted us to separate to work on myself and then work on our marriage. I knew it was bullshit from the start, but no one believed me. I called her therapist multiple times but was ignored. A couple of days later, I was told that I had been removed from her contacts and could no longer communicate with her. This shit hurts. I had no idea why, no answer, and everyone said I was unstable because I wouldn't let it go. We have been married for 13 years and I know something is wrong. I joined several Naanon family therapy groups and was told to watch out for the 13th step. When I Googled this, I almost lost my mind. I started checking her phone records and saw numbers I didn't know, so I called them. One of them was a guy she met in rehab. He told me everything. He said they were constantly flirting and sending nude photos all the time. He also said they spoke once before he left. I asked him to send me the lyrics, and he did, all 50 pages of lyrics. I asked her if she cheated and was called a piece of crap for accusing her of being unfaithful after 13 years. I then sent one of the nude photos she sent him and then turned off her phone. To make matters worse, I tried to tell the rehab facility what was going on, and they said, "We have no control over what she decides to do romantically," and then tried to report me to the state as unstable. What the hell? Shouldn't they have custody under their care? Men and women must be separated according to their admission brochure. She did not call or ask about her children for 3 weeks. I honestly think her brain is deteriorating. I don't know what to do because I don't think I will ever be able to forgive her for this. The other day, she sent me a random letter in the mail saying she was blaming me for her addiction and that I should have gotten her help sooner. She says I only benefited from her addiction. It's like filing for bankruptcy is first on my bucket list. My sister is deliberately having a secret affair with a married man. What should I do? She is my older sister. She was always strange. She had the audacity to bring him to my parents, as if knowing him would make them like him. He has kids and is in family counseling with his wife, but my sister still sleeps with him. She lost him. She is absolutely disgusting to me. I think she must be just lonely. She is in her 40s and our parents were conservative immigrant parents who were overprotective of us, which is why we came out so naive. I'm called a rebel because I've learned to set boundaries and do what I know is healthy for me. My sister grew up being treated like a child all her life and still does. She lived with some relatives after graduation because she got a job in their state and it was cheaper than renting an apartment. And my aunt didn't like her living in the city because she says it's too dangerous. It only made it worse. They were extremely oppressive. They had a curfew even though she was in her 30s. They made her join them in worship every day. They were typical super conservative, very religious immigrants who are worse than American conservatives. I think all of this probably got to my sister, and now that she lives on her own, away from most of the family, she doesn't know how to interact properly. She has a terrible choice of men, and she has this old mentality. She does not think for herself. It's so sad. She looks amazing for her age, and everyone thinks she's in her 20s, which to me is also why he's rude, because the guy is in his 50s and looks like a predator. I want to tear and gouge my eyes out when I see him. This situation makes me so angry, sometimes I just want to call his wife and tell him anonymously and send her all the evidence. Other times I just think that maybe I should just never talk to her again because despite her sad upbringing, I just can't be around her and we have nothing in common. The girl is childishly naive. Her mentality is inhibited, and she said she wasn't going to stop with him because she loved him, and if only I had met him, then I would have understood. I asked her, so I found out that my husband is cheating? What should I do? She said, okay, if that's who he loves. TF? So you would just let your sister scorn, and I should just be okay with him cheating on me? She is lost. She also gave me the impression that she loved my husband. She has made some snide remarks about him. Been too close and abusive. He shuts it down all the time and tells me every time he feels she is trying to force him. She also texts him from time to time, but hasn't texted me at all since I told her how I feel about what she's doing. My husband tells me everything. This made me so angry. Most of it is me just complaining, but I'm also bad at adding questions. Do I expose her? Do I try to build a relationship with her and try to ignore it? Seems impossible. Or just never talk to her again, at least until hopefully. Do they leave each other or will he die? I hope. Also, yes, I want to tell my wife, but one thing is holding me back. I'm afraid of the reaction. PPL can go crazy out of nowhere, and the next thing you know, funerals are being organized. IDK, I feel disgusted with her, but I also don't want to put her in danger. Caught his wife 7 years of sexting? The wife was diagnosed with personality disorder in 2021. Chatted online from time to time and could not quit. Caught her in 2020, 2023, and now 2024. She said in 2020 and 2023 she wanted to quit. Now she says that she cannot quit the business and wants an open marriage. She doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. We had good sex for the first year, then she complained of pain, and after that we stopped having sex. She always complained about it, so after a few months we went to the gynecologist who said it was fine. She was then depressed and diagnosed with a personality disorder. She was more comfortable online and dating than having sex. There are no children now. She is a very good person, and I may not find someone as sincere as her. We live with my father, who is ill for the last 12 years, and he is very dependent on us. In the next 2 months, we are going to move to a house almost twice as big. I do not know what to do. I also have self-esteem issues right now. I feel like I don't know how to turn her on. I haven't done this in a long time. If I break up with her and maybe in a few years end up with someone else and the same thing happens again and she's not happy with me either. We tried twice last month. Once we were done with the vibrator and her orgasm, that was it. Does not care about my needs. The second time, she did not get wet and we stopped. Same thing again, not caring about my needs. We always started with kisses, and I always felt that this was one of the ways. She also always wants to do it like me on top. Divorce isn't something I'm looking at right now. Maybe I'll consider it in a few days if there's no other choice. Over the past 7 years, she has gained 15 to 18 kilograms. Gynac told her to lose weight to get pregnant, but she is doing nothing for the last 3 months. I'm emotionally attached and dependent on her. I work full-time and she is at home managing everything and taking care of my dad. I don't know what to do or how to act to save it. Please let me know if anything can be done. My serial lover and I recently got pregnant, and I'm at a complete loss. I'm writing here because I'm tired of coming out to my family, making the same decision, and then dealing with their judgment. If you decide to read all of this, I really appreciate it and look forward to hearing your thoughts on it all. I, a 22-year-old girl, am in a 4-year-old relationship with a 22-year-old boy. I've probably known him since my freshman year of high school, but we didn't start dating until my senior year. Going back to about 2 years into our relationship when we were living in our own apartment together, when I found out he had been cheating for most of those 2 years. I had a fit. I mean, crying, screaming, swearing, nothing physical. Instead of responding to my outbursts, he called his mom, who in turn called my mom. I refused to leave the house that night because my stuff was still there and I wasn't done talking my shit. I ended up going back to my mother for about 2 weeks. During this separation, he called and texted me from different numbers because I kept blocking him, and he came to my mom's house. Eventually, I talked to him, and we got back together. I turned to him. My mom helped me find a therapist, and I started seeing her a few months after the incident. We have 2 Ring cameras in the house, one aimed at the front door, the other at the back. In the early stages of the relationship, I didn't feel the need to have access to cameras, but after cheating, I did. From the age of 2 until now, he continued to cheat on me. He became more insidious and lying. I didn't always react the same way I did the first time, and I didn't always pack up and go. But to be honest, I can't even remember all the times he cheated on me. I'll try to give a few examples. I used to work as an overnighter, and he would bring girls to our apartment while I was at work. I didn't find this out until he admitted it after dealing with another cheating situation. Another time I found blonde hair in our bed. My hair is dark brown. When I first asked him about it, he said that his friend came to play Xbox and his girlfriend was blonde, so her hair could be on his clothes. Obviously, I didn't believe it, but I had no proof. He later admitted that it was the hair of a girl he slept with. I was about 20 at the time and saw this as an opportunity to explore my own sexuality, so I told him I was interested in a threesome with a woman and him. We tried it, and we both loved it. I felt relief as well as excitement. I thought we were both getting something positive out of it. I said that I would be fine with that arrangement only if we both agreed to a female partner and if he didn't sleep with her outside of us doing it together. It didn't last long. He continued to sleep with other women and still had threesomes with me. I felt so betrayed and stupid. I didn't know what else to do, so I suggested an open relationship where I could continue to explore my sexuality and I would leave him alone to sleep freely with whoever he wanted. Of course he agreed. But I couldn't keep my end of the bargain because it was open. He was completely careless, leaving condoms, girly lip glosses, and hair ties all around. It pissed me off. I wasn't happy with the arrangement, and I told him I didn't want to do it anymore. I told him about my therapist and invited him to do a couple session with me. He spent several sessions with me and ended up becoming a client of my therapist as well. I didn't object at all. I thought it would be a great idea for the therapist and I to meet separately and together. Ever since he was with the therapist, he continued to cheat. I'm gone and I'll be back. I'm gone and I'll be back. I used to not open up to my family because I was afraid of what they would think, but I realized that I had to talk about what was affecting me. I opened up to my mom, grandparents, as I also moved in periodically during some of our divorces. I don't think my family has ever outright judged me. I think I wasn't proud of the decisions I was making, and because of that, I felt like my family would judge me. Fast forward to the 4th year of the relationship. A year went by as we continued to see a therapist separately, and together I believed we were making progress. He definitely screwed up a few times during that year, but I didn't feel like I was packing up and going. I thought we were getting somewhere. He and our therapist have developed a great relationship, and he seems to trust her a lot, which I know is not easy for him. Well, my life has completely changed in the last month. First, I found out he was sleeping with our downstairs neighbor. I don't know how long it lasts. I didn't really have proof, but I had enough suspicious activity to bring it up to him, and then he admitted it. I totally lost it. I attacked him physically and I spoke directly to the neighbor. I was angry, humiliated, and disgusted. I told myself that this was the last straw, that there was no going back. I packed a bag that would last me a few nights at my grandparents' until I could get the rest of my things. I blocked him from all forms of communication. I went to my grandparents, where I explained the latest situation to them and to my mother. Everyone couldn't believe what they were hearing, as if he had reached a new low, even for him. My grandfather commented something like this: "I wouldn't be surprised if you came back with him, it's just a matter of the heart." I immediately disagreed and told him that this was not something we could come back from. Well, as before, he called and texted from blocked numbers, used his friends' phones and accounts to contact me, and showed up at my grandparents' house. I didn't give up. One time when I was at the beach, I posted on my social media, and he must have had a disposable account where he could view it. He said he just wanted to talk about splitting the bills and then leave me alone. Part of me believed it, part did not. I figured we'd split the accounts, and then I could always block him again if the conversation veered in a way that made me uncomfortable. We talked about the bills, and then he asked me how I was doing. I tried to be brief, but I didn't want to keep these feelings inside, so I spoke up. He also expressed how he felt, and as usual, said how sorry he was and how stupid he was. I didn't buy it. I didn't block him again, but the conversation stopped after that. A few days later, I went to the ER to get tested for STD because I knew he was sleeping again. When I found out I was pregnant, I literally almost threw up when I heard this news. I instinctively called him to tell him what I had just found out, and he met me at my grandparents' house so we could discuss it in person. We went for a ride where he asked me what I was planning to do. I support women having their own autonomy and making decisions, but I didn't think abortion would be an option for me. I was upset, I didn't want to lose the baby, but I didn't want to raise the baby in separate homes to begin with, and I certainly didn't believe she would be committed to our family. After a few days or so, I slept over at his house again and began to see this child as a lesson for him and me. I knew we both talked about becoming parents, but I never planned for it to happen under these circumstances. We each had several sessions with a therapist together and separately. During our conversations together, he said that he was very happy about the child and that he wanted to break the generational curse. I am completely in love with my child without even knowing who they are. I am still very early, 9W, but I have told my mom, my grandparents, and my twin brother. He told his mother, brother and sister, aunt and cousin. My mother and I have already started buying things for the baby in anticipation of their arrival. Here is my last dilemma. 2 days ago, I was getting ready to announce my pregnancy to my older brothers. My BF knew about it and was even planning to come. When he told me he wanted to be open and honest about his fears and doubts about bringing this baby into our relationship. He says he doesn't want to hurt me or the baby, that he couldn't control his desires and behavior in the past, and that he doesn't believe he had enough time to work on himself. I am completely blind. Why do we openly tell people about the child? Why did we buy things for the child? He said he was caught fantasizing about having a baby, not reality. He says he's afraid he won't be able to be in a monogamous relationship, but he doesn't want to be a single parent. He says he'll support me if I decide to keep the baby, meaning he'll stay in her life, but he's not sure if he can stay faithful to me. The truth hurts. I kept asking him to be honest, and now that he's been honest, it hurts. I don't know what to do next. I'm not against abortion at all, but I fell in love with this child whether I was with the father or not. At the same time, I do not want to bring the child into an unhealthy environment. I also do not have the financial ability to get my own apartment. But now that I have confirmed my pregnancy with the state, they have become more willing to give me state assistance. I am a freshman in college and plan to continue my education while pregnant and even after the baby is born. I think I was sure of my decision, and I even started imagining life with a child, but now I'm spiraling. I don't know what to do. I haven't talked to anyone about this except my therapist. I am completely open to all suggestions.